哎，听众大家好，这是自由中国之声，我是Lily采访。今天我要采访的这位客人是古巴的移民后代，23岁的马科斯。他是美国很大的一个非营利性组织机构，叫做 Americans for Prosperity， 他是他们的基层主任。今天呢，我们想采访一下他的故事，为什么古巴移民在美国这么热衷于参入政治。This is the Voice of America Lily interview. My guest will be Marcus Lopez, American for Prosperity Field Director. How are you, Marcus, today?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here, Lily.
Yeah, welcome to our studio. So tell me a little bit about you, grandfather and your father, mother stories, and when they're trying to come to this country, and I will translate for you. 接下来请他讲他的故事，然后我会给大家做翻译。You go ahead.
Oh, perfect. So, my name is Marcos Lopez, and my family is Cuban American. For those that are well aware, Cuba is a communist country. My grandfather was able to come and get my family here from the island of Cuba in 1980. It was a long struggle for my family to see everything that happened on the island, the way that the island was used, and the way that the new regime came in and really took control of almost all facets of life.
马克思讲呢，他的外公就是他妈妈的爸爸，他和他的太太是80年代离开古巴到这个美国来。他们为什么选择美国呢？因为他们看到了古巴作为一个共产主义国家失败的很多地方，而且没有人性的摧残迫害，所以他们巴不得到美国来寻求自由。
So my grandfather was a farmer. He lived on the countryside. The word for that we have in Cuba in Spanish for is guajiro. Guajiro is basically a country boy. He worked in the main cash crops at the time for the island was tobacco and sugarcane. He grew up his life on this farm. He worked his entire life, growing tobacco, cutting tobacco down, growing sugarcane, and getting ready for export. He didn't have much of an education, but his family was able to get by.
他说我的外公也没有什么文化，他是一个农民，他主要种的是这个烟草和甘蔗糖。
And then growing up, he was around the age of 12 when the revolution first started. Now this is the July movement that occurred. It was a communist uprising on the island, and at first the movement was promising peace and freedom. It was to overthrow the dictator at the time, Fulgencio Batista. He was a military-style dictatorship, and there was a lot of promise and hope for the future of the island, who at the time was one of the most prosperous islands in the country. It was just lacking that democracy, was lacking that individual freedom.
Are you talking in the 50s that time?
Yes.
Yeah. 他说在50年代呢，古巴革命开始了。当时的古巴革命呢，告诉一般的老百姓，就说我们会给你更好的生活，给你更好的繁荣昌盛。所以呢，当时也有一些人支持。从那开始以后呢，所以大家就开始了走入革命，进行一场这种没有想到的以后的这些后果。
On July 1st of 1960, on New Year's Day, Fulgencio Batista was ousted from the government. He fled to Spain to seek refuge and asylum, and they came down from the mountains, Fidel Castro and all the revolutionaries at the time, and they paraded to the city and they declared victory for a new revolution, a revolution that they claimed would be for the people. Shortly after, they took control of the military and the police. And the first thing that they did was to execute all of those who were opposed to their rule and all of those that were part of the former government.
他说，1960年呢，他们把这个当时的独裁者赶下台了，然后自己夺取了政权，就是新的革命分子夺取了政权，也控制了一切的警察部门，然后呢也开始破坏如果对他们不同意的反对者。
And under Che Guevara, who would be put in charge, he'd become the head jury and prosecutor for all of this. We would see hundreds of people get killed and murdered for lacking due process. There was establishment of a secret police. They'd be called committees to keep track of everyone within towns and communities. And basically, neighbor was asked to spy upon neighbor. And it was basically to keep track of people who might be engaged in suspicious activity, whatever that might be, people who might harbor different political views or disagree with the government in certain areas, and people were asked to report one another.
Did the group have a party name? Were they call themselves Communist Party?
They called themselves the Committee for the Defense of the Revolution.
Defensive?
Defense of the Revolution, something along those lines.
Oh, so they don't call them Communist Party.
Well, the actual party itself would be the Communist Party of Cuba.
他说呢，他们实际上应该是叫共产党，可是他们对人民说我们是委员会的成员。这些人夺取政权以后呢，就开始大批的，就是叫大家要沉默。如果你不同意的话，就把你，比如说有那个警察就把你抓起来，然后也没有一个法定的程序，所以这个法治那个时候社会呢，就是已经开始消失。本来古巴是比较繁荣的一个岛，以前也是美国的一个部分，可是呢，自从这个革命以后呢，这个经济情况就开始下降了。
And I mean, the way they went about this, I mean, the pattern is pretty much the same you see all around the world in a lot of places in which communists take over. I mean, it started off first with, taking key resources and nationalizing them. It starts then moving down to eliminating private property of, the upper middle class, the middle class. And then lastly, they create departments of, for example, in Cuba, it'd be the Department of Culture that would come in and then start banning or outlawing or censoring different types of arts, different types of expression, what they would consider perversive Western movies or music. Like even the Beatles were banned in Cuba. And then it just started sinking, and its claws in its hand just started wrapping itself around every single part of civil society.
So how many years did they do that in the period?
So in the beginning, the big transition period was about 5 to 10 years, and then they started moving to those very similar, like 4-year economic plans that were very popular in the Soviet Union, and then they started moving to that. And during this time, we had the Comecon, which was the cooperative organization between all the socialist and communist countries.
Right, we have Chinese name for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. 他说呢，就是刚刚开始5年到10年的时间，就跟世界上其他共产主义国家比较相似的，就开始就是取消了那个土地私有制。政府人民就是所谓的人民，实际上就是政府了。那政府就是把所有的土地都收回来，然后呢，那个开始建立公社，就像咱们中国以前建立公社一样的，集体种粮食、种庄稼，然后慢慢的就开始一步一步的又涉及到音乐、艺术，那个自由言论领域。如果你当时如果是还整天要欣赏美国的音乐，美国的艺术的话，就会成为反动派。所以就像咱们文革期一样的。
And then from there, conditions on the island, it just started suppressing. When Castro first came along, they promised that there'd be free elections, and towards the end, some people started questioning, especially people like Diaz-Balart, who was the Speaker of the House at the time. Cuba was, more of a constitutional republic in the sense of the way that it was organized, not so much in practice as there was a dictator, but the way that we had 2 chambers, there was a Senate, there was a Congress, and then they were asking, where are these elections? Castro famously said, elections the people have already chosen. And then from that point on, there was never again an election. Everything would be done within the Politburo of the Communist Party. So when the Communist Party would convene, that's where all the actual politicking would be, and the elections would be within the party.
在古巴革命刚开始后，他们许诺人民，就是我们迎来以后，你们支持我，我们会有自由的选举，我们会选举你们那个喜欢的那些国家的那些领导人来代表你们。可是呢，等那个共产党建立以后呢，那个独裁者凯斯特呢，人家就问他我们什么时候搞选举，什么时候搞选举？因为那个时候他们讲选举的话，就是还是有国会的，就是有相似于美国的，比如说参议会啊，那个然后众议会啊。可是那个独裁者凯斯特他说什么选举？我们赢了，人民已经选举了，所以后来就没有选举。
And then, so my grandfather was always an outspoken man. He refused to, let his spirit be broken, his spirit be controlled. And because of that, he was arrested 3 different times on various things. The first time would be for expressing anti-communist views and for saying that maybe we should be having free elections. This isn't the route we go. We should be going. And then the next 2, he's a religious man, and, after the government seized and nationalized all the assets from the Catholic Church, they declared the government's officially atheist, and then it would crack down on all religion. And it kind of, infringes on that individual liberty to believe what you want to believe. But he never wanted to give in. He was in prison multiple times. He was tortured. He was beaten. And when he was finally released that 3rd time, he said, I need to get out of here. I have 2 young daughters, my mother being one of them, and we need to do everything we can to get off this island.
但是我的外公呢，就是因为一个他是天主教者，第二个呢，他经常就是说一些言论，就是说他我们应该进行自由那个选举，不喜欢共产主义，所以他的爷爷呢，实际上被逮捕了3次。最后他被放出来的时候，已经是被折磨得很厉害了，身体也垮了。他爷爷那个时候，外公就决定了，哎呦，我好像一定要逃离古巴，我不能这样待下去。我有2个女儿，有一个女儿就是马克斯的妈妈，他说就开始计划他们怎么样逃离。
So one of the ways at this time they start cracking down into different ways to get out. So the first thing that they did. The first people to leave the island were those that had the wealth and the resources to leave. That's always it is. Those are always the first people to leave. So then they needed ways to crack down on people from leaving. And then the way my grandfather was able to get off in 79 into early 80s was because he was in prison multiple times, he was begging the U.S. Embassy for political asylum. He slept outside the embassy for 7 days. And just waiting to get a meeting to get it. And there was a whole line of people who have also been arrested that were going through the same ordeal to try to get out. And what was really terrible about this is that you had these people waiting out in line, but the communists would gather outside and start throwing stuff and beating people waiting to get into the embassy.
So you still had a U.S. embassy that time?
Yes, we still had a U.S. embassy at that time.
Yeah, later probably not. 他说那个他的外公为了离开古巴没有其他渠道，因为有钱人都走了，有钱人有渠道，他们没钱的人呢，他说他的外公的唯一的反抗的渠道呢，就是跑到那个美国的那个大使馆，在这儿待了7天7夜不走，那样这儿不走，很多人都不走，都在这儿排长队说我们要政治避难。那个时候美国还有领事馆、大使馆在古巴，那个他们这些人就是日夜排长队。然后古巴的警察就会去把他们围起来，有时候要打他们，要驱散他们，跟他们那个扔石头。
And then he was able to finally come out of to reach the United States, and they didn't come with much or anything at all. It was very rough when they first came here. They had that language barrier. They didn't speak any English. All they spoke was Spanish. They were already midway through life. But one of the things that they said that what was amazing is when they were able to get here, and when you're free for the first time after so many years of the same way of thinking, even when you're growing up in school in Cuba, there's the indoctrination and the brainwashing begins. I mean, it's very common for children to be seen in between classes when they do their allegiance in the morning. They pledge their allegiance to the Communist Party, they pledge their allegiance to Castro, and then a very common saying is "seremos como Che," which translates to "we shall be like Che," as in Che Guevara.
Right, right. 他说，等他外公真正是拿到这个政治庇护到美国来的时候，也不会讲英语，也是头脑被洗得很厉害，所以说适应美国的新的文化，新的政治制度对他来说是一个非常挑战性的。他们在古巴，跟其他共产主义国家一样，孩子学生都被洗脑，洗得很厉害，每天也要说万岁啊，也要表示自己忠诚于党啊，忠诚于那个独裁者啊，所以他们来了以后呢，刚是来了美国是经过了一个文化冲击。
And then my father's story is a little bit different. So my father grew up on the island. He stayed there for about until the age of 23. And through him, I learned a lot about how the education system ran, how it was throughout every single phase. He also served in the military for about 3 to 4 years because it's mandatory for all young men that if you can't make it if you don't score high enough to make it into school, you have to go into the military, especially during that time. And this would be that late 80s, early 90s.
So it's mandatory for kids who are out of high school?
Yes, especially during that time. Because around that time, the whole thing was, what they would always be saying is, you have to be ready. The U.S. is going to invade at any point. Remember, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. We had the Bay of Pigs invasion. We had the failed attempts on Castro.
So that's like late 80s or
Yeah.
90s? Yeah. 他说80年代末呢，他讲自己爸爸的故事。那个时候爸爸跟妈妈还没有认识。爸爸呢是23岁到美国。他是80年代的时候呢，那个时候古巴整天宣传要被美国攻击了，所以每个男孩子。男青年都要规定加入他们的军队，所以他爸爸在军队服役了3年到4年，然后也是给他讲了很多他们怎么样被洗脑的故事，让他们都完全的忠诚信任这个共产主义，也是领导告诉他们做什么，他们就做什么。Then what happened to your father later?
So from there, we started entering in this period in Cuban history in which we had the Berlin Wall started falling. We had the collapse of the Soviet Union. Now, the Cuban government was tipped off that the Soviet Union was going to fall. They knew a week in advance that they wouldn't be receiving the same exports that they normally do. They wouldn't be receiving the petroleum shipments that they so depended on. This caused this little euphemism that became to know as the special period during the time of peace. And Castro came out as, we as a nation are going to be entering the special period in which there will be struggle, there will be shortages, and we as a nation would have to suffer. And this is where you really saw the collapse of the socialist communist system on the island because it wasn't able to respond to such a shock and such a drastic shift that maybe some other market economies would be able to adapt more to. And during this period, you had great famine. You had great shortages of everything to heat your house, to keep your family warm, to run your cars, to get to work, whatever it was. Shipments for food, exports was all very rare. I mean, it got to the point where they made it illegal to kill cows, and they made it illegal to kill horses because people were so hungry that they started stealing from the farms that the government owned, and they were killing them to eat the meat. And it became such a rare commodity to have red meat that even the consumption of red meat, if you did not have a ration coupon for it, would be punishable with up to 10 months in prison.
Wow. 他说呢，90年代的时候，等那个柏林墙倒了以后呢，这个古巴的独裁者政府很不高兴，很不满意，而且对他们经济也有很大的冲击。然后那个时候他们就开始控制国家的资源，就说呢，就规定你就说要拿粮票，就是所谓的粮票去买不同种类的东西，而且如果是你在那个饿的很那个厉害的情况下呢，如果你要杀动物，比如说牛啊马啊， 你可以被抓起来关到监狱里10个月。就是不让你吃这些肉，因为他要保护这些牲口，还要继续做那个农场的工作，所以那个时候呢，你就看觉到很多人就饿死。
And my father just thought, he couldn't grow up and continue living and start a life that he wanted to and engage in a family eventually in these conditions. He always tells me, Cuba became literally a prison. You weren't allowed to leave. You weren't allowed to go into certain areas if you didn't have the proper identification. The people who were best fed were those with the biggest connections in government, those at the top. And everyone else was basically living substantively. They were just trying to get by with just whatever it could be. There was actually studies that were done, and it was the first time in history that we saw large decreases in heart disease, but it was because people were starving, that they didn't have anything to eat. We had the average caloric intake for people before this occurred was on the island somewhere maybe about 31,000 calories a day. It dropped to below 1,800 calories a day, and then it would be as low as 1,400 for children and the elderly. And you remember that it's recommended that the average person eats 2,500 calories a day, and we're talking about very, very low levels of caloric intake because there was just no food.
Did you have the system like a Chinese where they do not let you to move because they have a residential ID to control you?
Yes. So when you're trying to move and do all this stuff, it's very complicated and it's very difficult. Yeah.
他说呢，因为这些饥荒的情况呢，但是政府呢又不允许你流动，你不能从一个地方搬到另外地方寻求新的生活，所以他的爸爸呢那个时候就感觉在古巴待不下去了。他们呢也跟我们有类似的，就是所谓的户口制度，你在一个地方住下来生存，政府就知道你在什么地方住，你就不能随便乱动。所以当时呢，他说很多人饿得很厉害。他们以前是按理说是古巴在很繁荣昌盛的时候，每个人的每天的热卡的吸取量应该是大概3万左右，后来降到了1800，1800就是连小孩老人的话都是不够的。
So the way my father got off is the way a lot of Cubans exited the island. What they did was in secret, because you can't let anybody find out, especially the committees that were out there to supervise behavior. You had secret, they built a boat, they were building a raft, and they did what millions, if not hundreds of thousands of Cubans have done before, which is in the middle of the night they launched their boat from the beach, and we're talking about maybe a boat that's maybe 20 to 30 feet long. And
how many people can say that?
And you would pack on it 40, 50, 60 people. It's just giant ships filled with people all over.
Kind of dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous. During this period especially, it wasn't uncommon for in Miami to have, or in the Keys, to have bodies wash up into the ocean. You knew that those were Cubans that were trying to reach the United States.
他说很多古巴难民呢，就是准备就是逃离。如果他的爸爸呢，就是跟一些人建了那个，就自己造了一个船。这个船呢，按理说也很小，可以坐20-30个人。可是大家都想逃离，为了美国，逃离古巴，这个都是坐50到60个人，非常危险的。但是呢，他们没有办法。所以那个时候，你从美国的迈阿密这个城市到那个朝海洋外面看的话，你有时候会看到很多的就死的人的尸体就这么飘下来。
So when he finally reached the United States, the joy he would tell me. I remember I asked him, what were you doing when you were 23 on my 23rd birthday? And he said, well, I was on that sea for 6 days trying to reach the United States. And there was no better hope. There's closer options for Cubans. The Bahamas are there. You have Jamaica. You have Haiti. But the best place for people and the beacon of hope was the United States, because the United States had that political freedom, had that economic freedom where people could pursue their own dreams. And to make things worse, that the Cuban government had deals with Jamaica, Bahamas, and the other neighboring countries, that if any Cubans were to wash up there, they would be immediately deported back to the island, where they would go immediately to prison.
他们当时为什么选择要来美国呢？因为古巴跟其他周围的国家都有协议，如果我们有难民逃到你那边去的话，你要马上把他们遣送回国。那么美国呢是一个自由国家、民主国家，会接受难民。当时他爸爸是跟他的一些人朋友，大概在船上，就是说大概熬了6天6夜，在23岁生日那天。他是在船上过的，那个时候还抱着一线希望可以到达美国。因为马克思最近呢也是23岁，他说：“爸爸，你当时23岁在干什么？”他说：“我就是一直在向往着一个自由的国家能够到达美国。”
So I mean, it's the story is the same in almost every single country that has gone through this. The way that these communist parties and these communist movements come up, gain control. I mean, their message is almost never aligned with the outcome. When they first come in, it's always the same thing. They promise a better future. They promise prosperity, a more equal and fair future. But the reality is that once you centralize that power isn't coming back.
他说世界上的共产国家都是这样的，刚开始总是讲得很理想主义，很粉红色的一个将来，为了我们的生活都会更好一些，我们更繁荣昌盛，我们会有更多的那个正义那个自由。到最后呢，这些集权者，中央集权者实际上都变成了暴君暴政，人民根本就没法活下去。所以说他说呢，现在这是他现在在美国为什么主要的也是一个就是说他很反共的一个原因。
I mean, they want to control the way you think, the way you live, the way what you can do for a living, and where you can go, who you can interact with, what you can eat. And the whole premise of that is the moment you start thinking differently than what the Communist Party has approved as the official message, you by necessity become an enemy to the state.
You also have one-party system, right?
Yes, we also have a one-party system. Any other party is outlawed.
他说呢，古巴也是就只有一党专政，也是就是共产党执政。然后呢，共产党一党专政呢，不许任何其他党派成立，也不许任何的非营利组织机构成立，表示对他们的不满。就是连这个发表自己看法的，那个讲自己思想的这些渠道都没有。他说这是一个所有的这种一党专制共产主义国家的一个就是相似的地方。So let's switch to about your mom, dad got married here, and then you were born, and I always teach you about your past and how you got involved with politics.
So growing up, I mean, the first thing that you know that you would hear was it was a couple things. One of the first things would be, you know, America's a land of opportunity. We escaped Cuba, and back home was a life of basically mediocrity. I mean, there was no food. You were struggling to live. There was no drive in people because they knew that a better life was not possible. They knew that if they wanted to achieve a better life, they would have to leave their island. And it's not that people wanted to leave the country. People love Cuba. Cuba is a beautiful place. There's gorgeous forests. There's wonderful beaches.
Right. So how many years did your dad came and then meet your mom?
It was probably like 2 years. They met pretty quick.
In Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah. 他说我爸爸逃离古巴以后呢，向往一个自由生活。2年以后呢，我爸爸和我妈妈在那个佛罗里达州迈阿密城市见面认识了。
And then the second thing, I mean, there was always this wish and hope within the Cuban American community that one day we'll be able to go back to a free Cuba. And so many people have died without seeing that dream realized. So many people have come to the United States just waiting that one day we'll be able to go back to a free island, to go back home. And it just hasn't happened. There's been so many people who have died. I mean, when Castro died, I mean, you had footage of just old elderly people who, when they got the news, were crying with joy. But the truth is it's not over still. And there's probably an entire generation that will never see their island free again.
他说在美国的古巴移民呢，一直都有梦想，哪一天回到一个自由的岛国，回到自己的国家。但是呢，这个梦想很多人都没有实现，之前就去世了。那么最近2年以前呢，这个独裁者这个凯斯特拉死了以后呢，大家都到这美国这边都哭，希望能够国家能够有机会了。结果呢，最近看一下的话，就说呢，他的那个不是弟弟又出来执政嘛，好像就觉得呢，他们实行的从实质上来说还是老一套，所以说呢，他们现在又觉得可能这一生任当中又回不到自己的自由岛国了。
So what drove me to be active was the fact that my parents, my family had given up so much to try to get me to this country where I could have the ability and the freedom to express my viewpoints. And because that is the freedom that's granted to me, it's what drives me to continue to make sure that freedom and that liberty is protected. Now, the United States is not perfect. Everyone's going to have problems. No one's ever going to be perfect to the ideal. But what enables us to be that beacon of light for the rest of the world of saying economic freedom, individual liberty, limited government is the pathway to be successful, and is a pathway to ensure the best life for everyone, including the poorest and the worst and least fortunate off amongst us, that everyone can achieve a certain level of happiness and success in their life is what America represents, and that's why it needs to keep going in that direction.
他说美国呢是一个民主自由国家，可是呢也有它的不好的地方，也有它的阴影面。作为一个古巴移民的后一代，为什么对政治这么热衷？就是因为在美国还有很多的仗要打，还有很多的那个方面需要我们继续努力，否则的话，这个国家如果失去自由民主，变成了一个黑暗国家的话，那这个世界上追求自由民主的人真的是没有地方去。他说我的那个爷爷一代，我爸爸一代，就是冒着生命危险到了这个自由国家。他说如果我这个新一代在美国，如果不能把这个自由民主的传统就是继续捍卫下去到底的话，那我们那是不是又回到以前的黑暗的日子了呢？So tell us more about what you actually do for AFP.
All right. So what I do, and I've been doing it now for almost 6-7 years now. So I'm active within the political arena, and I help mobilize people, educate them about the benefits of free markets, the benefits of limited government. I help empower individuals by helping them understand various knowledge gaps that they might have. A lot of like personal finance, understanding what investment, help them secure a better future for themselves. And then at the same time, a lot of what I do is help spread that message of liberty and that message of personal freedom, and really ensure that that this country remains being a beacon of freedom. And it's a constant power struggle. Between liberty and statist and statism in general, but I like to think that I help make a difference in the world and keep it a little bit freer for everyone.
他说，作为一个基层主任，就是为这个 Americans for Prosperity， 就是美国人支持繁荣这个组织机构。他说呢，我的主要任务就是到社区，像你们这样的中国人社区、墨西哥人社区、古巴各种各样的社区，去基层的那个群众组织里面去呢，就是给大家分享，就是说我们的目的是什么？那么为什么我们想教育大家？美国的这个政治制度是怎么样的？我们怎么样可以争取团结起来？就是在美国能够就是继续的捍卫我们个人的权利。如果美国的政府也是变得越来越大、越来越暴政的话，我们的民主自由越来越小的话，这个对我们大家来说都是非常非常危险的。他说有时候我也是告诉大家怎么样可以搞自己的财政理财啦，怎么样去跟那个政客打交道啦，怎么去就表现自己的声音意见啦。他说我们在基层的活动是很多的。
I don't know what else you want.
So what would you say to the Chinese communities? What would you wish to achieve?
So in the Chinese community, and in particular the Chinese American community, has great potential to be an active player within the realm of public policy. If you look at the Cuban American community, it's a very small community in the United States relatively to everyone else. There's only 1.7 Cuban Americans in the United States. I mean, there's 11 million Cubans on the island. But that 1.7 has been extremely influential because they've been extremely active within the United States. Right now, there's somewhere between 3.7 to 4 million Chinese Americans within the United States. That is almost 3 times the size of the Cuban American community. If they get active, if they voice their concerns and they voice that they want change and want to move America to continue to be a voice for freedom in the world and to support a free China and to apply more pressure for regime change, is something that can be done. But we need to have them to be active. Right now, I mean, that 4.7 million has been relatively quiet. It's not very organized, and it hasn't really engaged much. But if 4.7 million people rise up in one voice and say, something has to be done and we need to continue to move it in that direction, it will be very influential and it will be heard, not just here, but it will be heard in Beijing as well.
他说，古巴有1100万人在古巴那个岛国，但是呢，古巴的移民，包括他们的后代在美国，只有1700万人，这比我们中国人400万到500万的中国人要少的很多。
1700多万，不是1000多万。
啊？
你刚才说错了。
1700多万。
在美国多少？
我在美国是1700万。
古巴在美国有1700万。
不是 1.7 million。170万，比我们中国的要小，但是他们非常活跃。他们在美国的话有7个，光是游说，帮助他们的这个社区的那个公民游说的那个组织单位就有7个。在首都也有，在迈阿密有很多中小型的更多。他们那个在政治上呢是非常活跃。他给我们社区的一个信息呢，就是说你在这儿的中国人比我们要多，差不多要3倍。但是呢，就是有这种在首都有这种大型的游说组织机构了，代表我们声音的几乎没有。所以他就觉得呢，如果我们能够把这些人组织起来，形成一股力量，他们可以训练我们。他说，也许吧，这样的话，中国人的声音就会很响亮，而且呢，能够在美国就是推动这种能够就说呢，更多自由民主的声音，也帮助以后的中国，在大陆的中国的人民有机会，就是享受到自由和民主。
And they can make it clear, so American politicians and American agencies and the American government, that there is zero tolerance for censorship, oppression, for arresting of political opponents, and that, freedom and liberty is something that needs to be striven for and protected.
他说：“我现在看呢，就是在美国的话，我们必须要就是说捍卫这个自由民主，然后那个保护隐私、保护财产权利。如果这些在美国都失去的话，因为美国本来就是一个世界的一个自由国家的一个山头，大家都看着美国作为一个希望点儿。如果美国在这些方面都不能保护大家的话，那以后的话，就是对世界来说也是个很不好的消息。”
It can seem intimidating, especially if you come from a country in which civic participation within the normal realm of their government system and the way that their country is structured is very low or non-existent. But America is about that civic participation. So for the Chinese American community, if they just start not just talking amongst themselves, but it's reaching out to other groups and telling them, hey, this is what's going on at the island. Because a lot of people aren't aware, this is going on in China. A lot of people aren't aware about what is going on in China. They're not aware that President Xi changed the constitution. They aren't aware of these things. So you have to make everyone else aware and bring the attention to it. And then the public, the general public, is not going to be in support of those things that are going on, and then this will trickle up to the legislators, which trickles up into policy, which trickles up into the official United States position to apply more pressure to help affect more positive reforms.
他说，作为我们移民后代来说，在美国也是，不管是有绿卡还是有公民，这也是我们的一个责任。很多美国人呢，对中国，比如说不了解，也不知道目前发生什么事情，那要靠我们这些社区的积极的这个加入美国社会的人呢，就是说要走出我们自己的那个舒服的一个区域。这个舒服的区域就是老是跟中国人谈中国问题，但是很多美国人希望你们能走出来教育大家，中国现在是怎么回事？你们在美国需要什么？现在中国的发生了什么事情？那这样的话，我们的政策就是美国国家的政策法律，也许很多的那些实践的话，就会做得更好一些，能够促使一个。将来有一天有一个自由的中国，如果大家都是不走出去，不团结起来，不加入政治，也不知道怎么样对外去沟通交流，就说能够提供反馈，比如说政客都需要我们的反馈，我们都不代表自己的声音去反馈人家，那这样的话就是你的效果，那你要成功的那个机会那就会减少。So that tell us about your regular public meetings that people can go to and become a volunteer, how to sign up.
So, I mean, for people who are interested within the Chinese community to find out a little bit more about, how grassroots works and all that, they're in about 35 to 37 states. There's different chapters of Americans with Prosperity Foundation, and they host something called the Grassroots Leadership Academy, and then it's 3 different levels. It's 6 weeks. There's 1 day in the end of those 1 day per week for about a couple hours, and there you go through everything of the history of movements, how movements achieve their end, and different tactics, both. That you can use within grassroots politics to use to get your message across. We touch everything from messaging, we touch everything to writing op-eds, things of that nature, to give someone all the tools necessary to be able to run their own issue-based campaign. And for the Chinese community, the great benefit is that it's basically you can mix it together with some of our other stuff that we offer. That's a crash course of American civic politics, how to get engaged, how to mobilize people to then effect positive change.
他说我们这个 AFP 这个基层组织机构呢，在美国也是很大的，37个州都有我们的组织机构。我们还喜欢继续在我们本州再扩大。如果你对这个感兴趣的话，请跟他们联系。他说他也理解语言跟文化的障碍，所以呢，他们这个组织机构很愿意，就说呢，给我们训练。那训练的话，就他们一整套的程序的话，一个是专题训练，一个是基层训练。基层训练它有一个课程是6天，6天每天去训练2-3个小时，给你讲美国的制度，美国的政客，美国的那个法案历程程序，你怎么样可以作为一个群众之一去参与，去给反馈。他说你在学习这些以后呢，你就应该知道怎么样我可以保护自己的权利，或者代表我们社区保护我们的权利和自由和财产，去到美国的主流社会做一个政治的自愿的活动家。Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was great. We hope we will do more workshops and interviews like this, and maybe once every 2 weeks, we can sit down with somebody from AFP and to share your messages, to explain how everything works in the United States. So thank you very much. Really appreciate your story. Was very moving.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and especially for all the people that have ever had family, grew up under any single form of totalitarian or communist regime. The stories that we all have are so similar because we all experience the same torment. We all experience the same experience. Just the names change, the strongmen change, the names of how they went about things change, but the tactics, what the underlying that's all the same.
他说呢，谢谢你们邀请我来做采访。在他的眼光里，不管你是从哪个专制国家来的移民或者后代，我们都有很多相似的地方，就是我们都没有权利，我们都被当成牲口一样的，我们没有任何的自由。所以到了这个自由国家呢，希望我们大家都能走出我们自己的社区，到美国主流社会去给大家，讲解你的故事，讲讲你的国家的故事，然后你为什么到美国来，然后你为什么要在美国努力为自由、为人权奋斗。很多美国人他在这儿从来没有受过社会主义、共产主义的磨难，所以他们有的年轻人还很觉得信仰那些东西，所以这就是我们这些移民后代，移民的责任，去教育他们，然后呢讲这些个人的故事，让他们清醒过来。那这样下去，我们奋斗下去，也许美国会一直是继续成为一个自由民主国家。否则的话，我们的担心就说呢，如果我们失去民主自由，在这个自由国家，那世界上，是一个很黑暗的一个地方。好，谢谢各位听众，来看我们的采访，欢迎你们提问。这是丽丽采访，再见。